Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Greetings and a hearty welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, and we are delighted for you to join us on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, shining love light into your hearts and homes to empower your life with love. And we're truly grateful to our listeners who tune in live and on demand. We have a wonderful show today, The Joy of Giving Back with Lynda Dyer. How does it make you feel when you give back and make immeasurable contributions to the well-being of others? We cannot help others without helping ourselves. Mahatma Gandhi quotes, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Our paths cross and our destiny connects in many ways. Mother Teresa says, "Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service." And I know this to be true after spending time in Malaysia, witnessing the spirit of volunteerism, and also throughout Turkey, and recently visiting Mahabodhi International Retreat Center in Leh Ladakh, India, in the Himalayas, where our group engaged in charitable services with visits to the Mahabodhi Residential School and the Geriatric Home for Elders. Truly heart-opening experiences with joy-filled and joyful moments. True generosity is an ingredient in the recipe of love. The joy of giving back to others, giving our time, attention, and resources. When we give with an open heart, with no expectations for return, it makes life absolutely beautiful. We build a bridge of love that brings joy and happiness, even in the most dire situations. Ultimately, we create a legacy of love with everlasting joyful memories. And our guest today, Lynda Dyer, gives from the depths of her heart and soul. Lynda says you are never given an idea you're not capable of achieving. Decide, act, believe, expect, and it will come together for everyone to benefit. She's an example of a person who is filled with ideas, love, and selfless service for the betterment of humanity. Lynda Dyer is joining us today from Australia, a humanitarian whose charitable services span the globe with involvement in major catastrophic events. She's an award-winning international best-selling author of many books, including Good Grief, What a Wonderful Life, an understanding of loss and a celebration of life, written with the purpose to allow others to grieve and celebrate the life of those people and animals we lose along our path through life. And it reaches people of all ages, showing how to embrace the grief and pain. Lynda is a certified neuro-linguistic programmer, certified NLP trainer, transformational coach, trainer, and master of matrix therapies, registered trainer, member of the NLPAA, TEDx speaker. Happiness is a choice. And Lynda was one of 58 people filmed for The Secret movie because she applies her material to her own life, and she healed herself from a debilitating disease. So now I am honored to bring forth our amazing guest today, Lynda Dyer, on our show, The Joy of Giving Back. Lynda, welcome to Love Light.
Oh, thank you, Jean. That's lovely. I'm just so impressed and wonderful. It's just a wonderful experience to be here talking to you.
Yes, and I always enjoy you being on the show. You've done a numerous series on raising confident kids. So much you've contributed, and we like to just uh, uh, share a hearty welcome to listeners who are joining us from Australia. And Lynda, this is such a wonderful episode, The Joy of Giving Back. Can you just tell us what inspired you to start giving back?
I think as a child, being one of 7 children, I think there was always an art to some degree of giving. There was an expectation of things that we had to do, but also, my parents were, even though they didn't have much, they were very generous with what they did have. And I guess that was in my veins. But it wasn't until I really felt better about who I was that the ability to go and help others really grew inside of me. And that I still remember a time when I was training NLP in China and arrived there on the day of an earthquake, and I had this insight that I could be a part of this recovery, which was stupid.
That's amazing. What about the fear? I mean, here you're in this situation. I mean, for our listeners, I mean, most people have been, just in anxiety and stress and trying to find a way out. And here you're there saying, okay, how can I help? You're in the place where now I can serve. That's incredible.
And it was really interesting because one of the students said to me, "That's a stupid idea." He said, "You don't even speak a word of Chinese. How can you go up and help 10 million that are being displaced by an earthquake?" And I said, "Isn't it interesting that you've already told me what I can't do?" You see what we do? We set up circumstances as to why we can't do something, whereas all I had done is I'd learned through all the years of NLP and personal development by proctor programs and learning about me that I can absolutely do what I want. And if I love what I'm doing, it's not work. It's just an absolute privilege.
I love it.
It was just time. And so I said, well, actually, I'm going to do this. And I'm teaching all of you who are going to be NLP practitioners. So if any of you would like to come with me and help me do some coaching, because I really know what it's like to have catastrophic grief in a person, let alone a country. The cortical steroids that are built up and you name it. I said, if this country can't handle the number of people that are going to be really, really taken back by this earthquake and the loss that comes from it, then the whole country is going to suffer. And I feel like I need to do something about that or help do something about that. So those of you that would like to come are most welcome, but I'm going. And I was even quite shocked with my own.
And Lynda, you often talk about the gut feeling that you have. Is this part of that? Because we're going to talk about how you, like you indicated, you always had this desire to help and give back. And, sometimes I think you've set intentions or goals, and here you're perfect at manifesting. So talk about the gut feeling. Because there may be listeners out
I just
there.
touched my gut when you were saying that, Jean. Isn't that interesting? I had my hand on my gut going,
we're in tune.
The universe will never give you something you can't do. And once I learned that, that was ingrained in my system. And I remember when that plane flew in to Shanghai, and they said there'd been an earthquake, I just said to myself, well, I'm obviously going to be a part of this. And I went, what the? So I was looking at the bottom of the TV screens and it's saying, that they needed coaches and psychiatrists and people to help people get through the grief and what have you. And I just kept looking and I just kept asking if people would like to help me and we could make a difference to what's going on here. And I explained why. And what happens is the universe will never give you anything you can't achieve, ever.
Yeah.
So that's how many times do your listeners get an idea, oh, my gosh, they go back to their husbands or spouses or whatever and they go, I had this crazy idea today It's not a crazy idea. The universe, I want everyone to understand this. The universe will never give you an idea you can't achieve. So once I got this, once I achieved that idea that I could help 10 million people in China get through an earthquake, I couldn't put it down. And so I continued to train the NLP, but I realized that we're going to need some money. We're going to need to find a way to get to the earthquake zone. And so after hours, a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, I couldn't have done it without her, Hong Pan from Shanghai. She could translate Chinese for me. I had a book called Good Grieve. I asked her if she wouldn't mind translating it. We didn't know how we were going to afford the money just to get it printed, but we just thought the universe will provide. So we put it into the printer. And so then she said, well, would you like to do a talk? And that's how it all started. I started doing talks in Shanghai, and I did them for free. And then all the money that came in went into an envelope. And then the lady that criticised me in the course turned up at the airport when we were heading to the earthquake zone. I said, what are you doing here? And she said, I came to help. I went, oh,
my goodness.
That's a turnaround for the books.
Yes. But I think your energy and your desire to help, it just radiates. Look at what happened with that lady, huh?
And she handed me an envelope, Jean, and all the money that we'd collected from various events that I ran in Shanghai, breakfast events and talking to bicycle groups and you name it, we went out doing it. We were short, let's say $800. And we got to the airport and she had an envelope and she just handed it over and she said, here's for the books. And she didn't know how much we needed. It was exactly, Jean, exactly the right amount. You see, I just said, thank you, that's great. And I turned around to my Chinese friend and I said, you can now ring the printer and tell him we have cash to pay him. And it was not like, you don't get overly excited because you have this expectation that the universe will provide. It will just flow.
Oh, I love that.
And the other thing we did was we had a statement saying only faith. Only faith. So anytime somebody said, we're not going to be able to do that, we're not going to be able to do that, I'd say faith. With faith, you can do anything. Wow. And I would nudge them with my elbow when we were on the plane. So it was amazing. It just all came about. And we were to meet somebody in Shanghai and, you know, that they didn't know it was going to lead to anything. I just kept doing what the universe was asking me to do. And that lady provided a car and a driver, and the next thing you know, we're up in the earthquake zone.
But it takes a person like you with the fortitude and the affirmations, not, being a victim of what's happening around you. You encourage others, and with that faith, it takes that one person like yourself to build confidence in others.
Absolutely. So you're not thinking about the circumstances of why you can't do it. You're thinking about the circumstances of how you can. That's the difference. And that became my saying, how can I make it happen? So, you know, these girls, and I said, okay then. And so we had a car and a driver the next morning, and the girls are going, I don't know how you manifested that one. And I said, you just have to put it out and believe that we can. And we went to bookshops. We went, we were working hard, and the universe was rewarding our work with what we needed to get more work done. So we drove up to the earthquake zone, and we were in front of the Chinese army, and the Chinese girls saying, oh, I don't know. And I went, whoop. And I would stop them immediately and go, faith.
Yes.
No fear here. Faith. Faith, faith, faith. And we will get through. And I still remember this guy at the, he's on the car and he's got my Good Grief book, and I'd had it translated into Chinese, and he's reading it and he's saying, oh my gosh, she's going to give this to these people to help them get through the grief. And he looked up and the Chinese lady's going, oh my gosh, he's not going to, faith.
Faith.
And
well, let me
around.
ask you this. Yeah. How did you bring that book with you, or how did that work?
Yes, we took a few books with us because we were still getting some books. When we went to China, we had the books printed, but the printer kindly said you can pay the rest when you get back. And then when that lady handed us the money, we had the rest and assured him that we had the rest when we got back. So we couldn't even carry those. They were so heavy.
Yes.
And when the guy at the airport said they're too heavy to put up in the lockers, I said, you'll find a way. And
You didn't accept
I
any.
think you've got your foot on those scales, mate, So,
Yes. Well,
yes, we took those books up and we distributed them around. We went to schools, we went to villages, we went to the tent city, we went to the army, anywhere where we could distribute those books so people could assist themselves to help get through the grief.
So much divine timing, and you really speak to how the universe will work in your favor, and you have the right intention, the right heart, the right effort, and you were confident in motivating and encouraging others, because if you have naysayers and doubters, that can weaken the link in the chain. And here you are really instilling others to trust and have faith and believe. Well, Lynda, I think we're up for a quick commercial break. So to our listeners, stay tuned for more on this fantastic segment, The Joy of Giving Back with Lynda Dyer, a global humanitarian, #1 international best-selling author of many books, including Good Grief, What a Wonderful Life. Lynda's a transformational coach, certified NLP trainer, master trainer of matrix therapy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for more on the joy of giving back.
Announcing Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations. This is the companion piece to Dr. Farish's best-selling book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being. Through the new book, we invite you to cultivate a lifestyle of love through daily devotional practices over a 21-day period, following 9 ingredients in the recipe of love. Love Mastery Devotion Journal, 21-day weekly prompts and affirmations is available on Amazon.com and Balboa Press.
Jean Marie Farish's Center for Conscious Loving, LLC, cultivates a lifestyle of love and wholehearted connections through personal growth, altruistic services, and speaking engagements. Resources include classes, workshops, life care coaching, and creative service projects with an emphasis on cultural arts. Visit the website at drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com. That's drjeanmariefarish-consciousloving.com, or click the link on the Love Light show page.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to PublishedMagazine.com.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. Today we have our outstanding guest, Lynda Dyer, joining us from Australia. a global humanitarian, award-winning, #1 international best-selling author of many books, including Good Grief, What a Wonderful Life. Lynda is a transformational coach, certified NLP trainer, master trainer of Matrix Therapies. On our show today, the joy of giving back. And Lynda, in our first segment, you were sharing those outstanding experiences that you were having in terms of birthing your project to contribute in this dire situation, this earthquake. Can you just share with us one of the questions that I have? The barriers. I mean, you had financial barriers, language barriers, even cultural barriers. How did you move through that?
It's really funny because I didn't think any of those were going to be barriers. And that's why when the lady said to me, you can't do that, I laughed because I said, isn't it funny that you've already sorted out why I can't do something? In my mind, it's what I can do. So my thoughts are always, how can I make this happen? So then, I said, I don't have to speak Chinese. I've got a friend here who I met in Australia who's Chinese and who speaks English and Chinese. And Hong had already said she's coming with me. So that problem solved. The Chinese army, probably could have been a bit of a barrier for some people.
Yes.
But, faith allowed me to think that there was a kind enough man in that army that saw what we wanted to do and would assist us. And he hopped in the car after he saw our book and he said, I'm going to get into trouble for this, but I'm taking you to the earthquake zone. So, and Hong, the lady that didn't think it was going to happen at that border, she couldn't believe it. She's shaking her head. But I just had no qualms whatsoever that we were going to go. And then I've got a lady that grabs my arm and speaks to me in Chinese all the way through this field that we're walking through to get to these 200 children left out of 2,000. Very, very sad situation. And she's speaking to me the whole time in Chinese. And somehow I just understood because 55 to 75% of us is body language. And so I just understood what she was trying to get through to me and how she was thanking me. And the village people were coming over and they wanted a book too. Because I said, this book will be like a birthday book. This will be like the first day of the rest of your lives. So, and a very beautiful thing happened in this line of children that were lined up to meet us. There was only 6 left in the kindergarten group. And the second child in, I remember looking at her, Jean, and I was thinking, only thinking, I didn't say a word. I just thought, I don't know why you were saved, but you are going to be one amazing lady for this country. And she left the line and came over and hugged me, and that is no word of a lie. And that blew me apart because Chinese don't tend to hug. Yes. They love, they love acknowledging you and everything else, and I love them as a race, but they're not really huggy, touchy feely. So that was really out of the blue thing. And I knew that thoughts right then, your thoughts are powerful. And that what we were doing was really impressing a lot of people. And that was, we wanted to be able to assist them to get on with their lives. And it was, but the thing that makes it all happen, Jean, is that because that came together and because we had these people that helped continue it, I went back 3 times. I went up to the earthquake zone. I set up camps for the children in the tent cities and played soccer with them and did sports programs. And then I just, finally, the government got the idea that they should be doing something about this. So I allowed them to step in. And then once I realized how this works, I could move on to the next charity. I had a coaching client that was talking about going to and helping all the people in the poorest city of Uganda. And I said, I think I'd like to come. But the thing that really brought all this home is at the beginning of each year, I set 2 goals. Okay. And at the beginning of that year of the China earthquake, my goals were to have a charity I could get my teeth stuck into. That was my first goal, because I was giving money to a lot of charities, but I really wanted something I could get involved with. I think I found that. And secondly, for my company to go global. And I let it go. Once you set your goals, you've got to let it go, hand it over to the universe, and then you just act on it. Well, in May 2008, of course, somebody picked up the work I was doing in China, and his name is Roger Hamilton. And Roger Hamilton was a big personal development coach, and he saw the work I was doing and asked me to fly down from China to Hong Kong on my way back to Australia, and could I speak to his whole audience?
Amazing.
And I spoke. I cried through most of it because I was so passionate about what this had been. And they wanted to donate and give back and keep getting those books out.
What would you talk about in Hong Kong?
I spoke about how this all came about, how the charity came about and what we were doing. And they wrote a 4-page article in their international magazine.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that was sent to me. So 2 goals had just been in May. And I think, oh, my gosh, I better set some more goals because they're already happened.
One thing I love about you, your motto, be, do, have. You can make it happen. And I consider you to be a major manifester. I mean, you were in The Secret movie. and this is so encouraging and motivational because you set goals and then your organization, you follow through. You were invited to be a speaker in Hong Kong. It's like everything just started flowing.
Yes, it does. And it's not, you think, how can I afford that? I can't afford not to. So it's once I go there, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me when that article came out, oh my gosh, my goals are already completed. I have a charity that I've got my teeth stuck into, and I've now gone global. So the universe is always going to send things back. And once China took over the earthquake charities and put more money in, I was able to then, I felt comfortable about moving on, and I started working with a group of people that were going to Uganda, and we worked with orphanages and really, really poor people, and I went for 2 weeks to Uganda in Africa and helped. I set up a pig pen and a chook house. It doesn't seem much, but it was huge for us, and we raised money in Australia and we took it to Uganda and helped these people build there so they could become sustainable. It wasn't about giving money. This is not what we do. It's about sustainability. You know, here's the chickens. Yes. We'll help you build a chook shed. What you've got to do is help grow those chickens. So we'll help then build a corn mill. You can grow the corn. We'll send you in somebody that can test your soil. And that's the sort of thing we did. And then once we did that, we put concrete on a floor for a community centre. We built a pig pen so they could raise pigs, and then they could eat them, but they could also raise them, and then they could sell them, and then they could be self-sufficient as a village rather than get left in this poor state.
And I love this aspect of sustainability because sometimes you have people who go in and do things and come out. And it doesn't really empower the people, right? And your programs and services are about empowering the people for sustainability efforts. And
what can they do? Like, how can they make it happen? Once we've been there, with our little bit of contribution, what can they now do to sustain that sustainability? Because it's like we don't do anything to anybody, but we start the process, and they can then pick up on it, and with a little bit of a donation they can. And then from Africa I went to I kept being asked year after year to go to Vietnam, and I said no, I've got my charity. Once I'd completed, Africa's still going, these people are still going over there now, but I felt it was time to move on, and I was asked to go to Vietnam. And I've been going there for 8 years now, and we do a lot. We put 230 people through cataract surgery. We pay for all of that, so we do all the fundraising before we go. We work with villages. We work with the Agent Orange children and their families and help them literally survive. We give out 1,000 bags of food, and, we dance and we work with the villagers and we put little bits of money in envelopes and we ride around villages and just hand it out to people that are really doing it tough. And we go every year. I love it. I just love it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. The bonding, the connection, because a lot of people are suffering from that lack of connection. And, I realize that what happens in one part of the world affects us all, whether we realize it or not. And for you to really be forthright and, setting up your organization and the services that you provide. And I hear China, the earthquake story, Uganda, creating self-sufficiency in the village communities, working with Agent Orange families, building houses, wells, putting people through cataract surgery.
Surgery, yeah.
And handing out, I think you had 1,000 bags of food, looking after 2 orphanages and schools, visiting sick and poor families. Tell me about self-care. How do you sustain yourself in the midst of these projects?
Well, it's like already now, I know I'm going to Vietnam. I've already joined a group over here called the View Club, Voice, Interest and Education for Women, and they look after children here in Australia. They help poor children in the country areas or what have you. They help them buy books and school uniforms and put them through school. And my mother was a very big part of that. And so my sister and I decided to join them. And so we do that here in Australia, to give back here. But at the same time, I love the charity work we're doing in Vietnam. And I keep myself fit. So, I've already walked 3 kilometres around the lake this morning. I go to Aqua Fitness 3 times a week. So, and we eat really good food. I've got to be able to keep well, so that I can do this, because it's no use you giving until you're empty. That's not the idea. The idea is that you give without expectation. You just give because something has come up and somebody needs it and you've got the ability and to do that. And then you're assisting a lot of other people that have come on board. So it's a group, it's a whole group that's involved. But for me, it's about keeping fit and then having a go. And it's interesting that even though I'm in my 70s, when I went to India, a lady said, I want you to come up here. Now, she'd never met me. I'm in a group of 50 women who'd gone to a convention in India, and she gets me and she goes, you've got to come up here. And I said, what am I up here for? And she said, because you've got more energy in it than all those people put together.
Yes.
And she could see it, and so she wanted me to work with her at the front end of the convention. I said, you don't even know me. He said, oh, I think I do.
Well, I think if you're in a crowd, and of course I met you in Manzanillo when we had the workshop, and I was a part, I participated in your workshop, and the energy you radiated during the whole time, during our stay in Manzanillo, it was just amazing. And, to know that you were in the Secret movie because you healed yourself, and look at the energy that you have in serving and being a global humanitarian. What impact has this had on the people who were part of the team, your team in these different projects?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. So the lady, remember, that told me that I couldn't go to the earthquake zone because I don't speak a word of English, she happened to join us at the airport, gave us money that could help pay for the book to be translated into Chinese, the Good Grief book, hopped on the plane with us, came to the earthquake zone, got involved in the project. And when we got back to Shanghai, she just couldn't stop hugging me. And it was like her life. She said, I want you to fly, I will pay you to fly over here to China, because she was living there at the time. And she said, I want to learn what you've learned. I want to learn the NLP. I want to learn how to, change the mindset, because I've never met anyone so negative. And to see her turn around was just unbelievable. And 2 years later, after I periodically was going over there. I was going over anyway because I wanted to keep helping with the earthquake zone. But she became a confidence coach and went back to Germany. That's a beautiful story.
Of how you inspire this ripple effect for positive change and just being around good, positive energy with the commitment and dedication to see your dreams come into fruition and to engage in service that's going to be a wealth of benefit to humanity. That is impressive for the people who are recipients of the service and people who are part of your team. Well, Lynda, we're going to take a brief break, so hold your thought. We have more to talk about when we come back for our next segment. So to our listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on the joy of giving back with our outstanding global humanitarian, Lynda Dyer, joining us today from Australia, a #1 international award-winning best-selling author of many books, including Good Grief, What a Wonderful Life. And Lynda is a transformational coach, certified NLP trainer, and master trainer of matrix therapies. On our show today, the joy of giving back.
Vicki Winterton and Dr. Jean Marie Farish have compiled a dynamic book, We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another, an anthology with 24 highly diverse co-authors who share how to spread the message of love, resilience, inclusivity, and compassion. This book is an invaluable source of uplifting, inspiring, and positive insights for spreading positivity in the world. We're All in This Together, Embrace One Another is available on Amazon.com. Be sure to get your copy today.
I'm Judy Satori. I'm a spiritual channel and activator of human potential. You might have heard me speaking on the Voice of America on Dr. Jean Farish's show, Love Light, because I've been speaking about the challenges that are besetting all of us right now and how we can surrender but also keep on going. I want to invite you to join my new Facebook group that is devoted to heart-centered connection and unity. Through this Facebook group, you can also join my free access question and answer session with Spirit on the first Wednesday to Thursday of every month. Just search Ascension Community on Facebook to join the group. In this session, I answer questions and transmit energy from Spirit to give you guidance and support. Because life on planet Earth ain't easy right now. And there is so much help from above, from beings of love and light, from multidimensional realities who are actually here with us, wanting to step up and support us. I welcome you to become part of our ongoing group conversation about evolutionary change and how it's affecting us as human beings and affecting our life today. Many blessings to you. You can find out more about me and my work at www.ascensionlibrary.org. Have a wonderful day.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to PublishedMagazine.com.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Welcome back to Love Light, living in the spirit of love. If you're just joining us, we are with our outstanding global humanitarian, Lynda Dyer, joining us today from Australia on our show, The Joy of Giving Back. Lynda is an award-winning, #1 international best-selling author of many books, including Good Grief, What a Wonderful Life. Lynda is a transformational coach, certified NLP trainer, and master trainer of Matrix Therapies. On our show today, The Joy of Giving Back. And Lynda, there's perhaps so many people out there who want to serve in the community or maybe do some international work. On our show, we talk about self-empowerment. What is your message to those who have that interest but maybe have that fear or don't believe in themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, the first thing that comes to mind is that the universe put all of us on this planet as a perfect human being. And however, we get in the road of that. And so telling ourselves, when the universe gives us all these ideas and we go, oh, I had this silly idea today, and I can't do that, and I can't do that. By the time we've abused ourselves through language, rather than believe. But you know what? When we've got maybe parents, maybe teachers, maybe others who are telling us we can't do something because we're too fat, too thin, too ugly, too pretty, too this, too that, and it starts to stick. And so we don't feel. So the #1 limiting belief for people is I don't feel good enough and therefore I don't deserve. And so we need to shake that off. Because that wasn't true. Just remember, the universe put you on the planet as a perfect being. You're amazing. And so when I learned Joel Bales' quote, God's gift to you is more talent and ability than you have ever had in your lifetime. Your job back to the universe is to give as much of that talent and ability as you can in your lifetime. Guys, what are we doing?
Yes.
That hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was like, get over yourself.
Yes.
You know, stop getting in your own road. We trip over ourselves all the time. And so then I really discovered next, like when you go to say, I can't do that, which is a very clear limiting belief. The minute you say, I can't or I don't, it's a limiting belief to the subconscious mind. When you're running around, you got to go for that goal, and you got to do this for your kids, and you got to do that for your partner, and you got to do that for your workplace, and you got to do that. You're working off the 4% of consciousness. But the subconscious mind is 96% of you. You're not addressing it. And so it's got not only those limiting beliefs in it, but it's also your feeling mind, your emotional mind. And it's telling you that if you had the guts and the courage to let go of some of those untruths, one at a time, it takes 21 days to clear a habit. Let it go. 21 days. Give it a go. Look in the mirror and say, what would I like to change about me? What would I like? What's so marvelous about me? You know, not what would I change, but what's great about me? And you might come up with one or two things. We're not real good at telling ourselves how wonderful we are. One or two things, and work on that and let go of a couple of things. Like I learned to respond rather than react. Rather than slamming a door and telling somebody off, I learned to respond. So I had to think, how can I respond to that rather than react to it? And then that thought allows you not to react. And also it allows you to think, how can you make change around that perception of that person? And also to remember that what other people think of you is actually none of your business. None of your business. At the end of the day, giving, the art of giving has to come to you first. You have to be able to give to you. Give yourself love. Give yourself encouragement. Give yourself wisdom. Empower yourself to be that person that the universe put on the planet. Just empower yourself to do that. Because disempowerment is like blame. As soon as you blame a piece of grass, as soon as you blame the weather, as soon as you blame your partner, your parents, you're losing your power.
Yes.
Let it go.
And what I love, you show us how anything is possible and how the universe will conspire and bring the support and the resources that you need if you trust and believe and don't accept the no's and the naysayers, right?
Yes, because the universe is symbolic. So being symbolic means that the subconscious mind, which is your total link to the universe, needs a symbol. What do you want to do? And so if you're only giving it negatives, then it's only that energy goes out to the universe, and you're only going to get exactly the same back. So you're in control of you, not others. No use blaming somebody else. You chose to let their behavior affect you. I know that's a tough gig. Let it go. Next, right?
Yeah,
Close
yes.
that dendrite down, that neuron and dendrite that's in your brain. Close it down. Next. Don't address it. Don't allow it to shine.
That was powerful. I know in that workshop that we had, you talked about next, like dismissing and moving forward, right?
Yeah. How can I make whatever it is I want to do happen? What can I do? What sort of actions can I take? And then focus on that. It's like focusing on the door that's open rather than the door that you think is closed.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful analogy. There may be listeners out there who want to offer services or do something, but maybe they feel like there's a challenging situation that they can't, move beyond. Do you have any advice for someone who might want to attempt to do something or open themselves up to opportunities?
Have a go. That's my statement. Have a
go.
I used to say this to the kids at my sports camps. You don't want to come and play baseball? Why not? Oh, I don't know how to play. Honey, that's why I'm here, to help you learn. Why don't you just have a go? And for me, it's have a go. Go and have a go. And when somebody says something negative about you, you'll go, oh, that's interesting. Thank you. And walk away.
Yes.
You don't take on, for the first time in your life, don't take on what they're saying. Because quite often they're talking to themselves. And so when you take it on board, you've made a choice to disempower yourself. Why would you do that when the universe thinks you're effing amazing? You are out there. You are full of beans.
Yes.
You're the flavor of the month. The universe thinks you're amazing. So go be that amazing.
And we have to believe that for ourselves. Yeah. How has your work inspired a new generation of people?
Well, because I've probably worked with kids, I've worked with older people who still remember me, the poor buggers. Because I taught them to stand up rather than, bend down and have osteoporosis. I taught them to stand up and bring the walking frame closer to them and look at the world from, their eyes, not at the ground, and learn about their bodies so that they could do something about their bodies to stay well, rather than believe that we have to deteriorate like that. You can choose the way you deteriorate. We're totally in control, and not many people get that. So sometimes it's about having a go, taking that bull by the horns. You're either winning or you're learning. You make a mistake. What's a mistake? It means you're learning what not to do next time. What a great thing.
It's like setting yourself free, because we hold ourselves in bondage with limiting beliefs. But when you step out there and try something new, you discover something about yourself, and it makes you feel so good and encourages you to take that next step moving forward.
And start laughing. Laugh at the funny things that you do. You know, like, we really are funny people. Seriously. we really, and so rather than being vulnerable about somebody's comments, start giggling and say, yeah, I do that too, you know.
Sense of humor.
Yeah, because that makes you feel lighter.
Yes.
And that allows you to go and work with anyone at any time, because nobody is going to affect you without your consent. Nobody.
Yes, and laughter
because
is
you've got
healing.
that, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
And Lynda, talk a little bit about the generosity, the giving and receiving aspects of that, because some of us are givers and can't receive. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, years and years ago, I learned about giving. When you're giving something and you expect something in return, that's actually not giving. That's trading. You're just trading your services for something else. That's a business transaction. True giving is about giving without wanting something back. So it's just that a thought comes to you and you think, oh, gosh, I could help with that. And you just go and help with that, whatever that is. Or you ask somebody, would you like a hand? And you give unconditionally. That's the true sense of giving. Some giving, though, and when I first learnt this, my shackles came up, I can tell you. But when I first learnt that some giving is actually controlling. You give, you choose the present, you choose the person, you choose the time, you choose when it's going to go, and you choose everything. And it's because you're in control. And it's rather than do that, you might think about giving without just no consent to wanting anything back, but also how are they going to receive it? And so when I was in a business meeting once and this guy said who'd like 5 minutes with him after the class because he talked about almost like clairvoyancy. And I said, oh, I'd love that. And he said, you remind me of the next Mother Teresa. And I cracked up. I laughed my head off. And he said, what do you think Mother Teresa is? And I said, an angelic Catholic woman. And I said, I'm neither of those things. And he said, you're wrong. Mother Teresa was the most amazing lady who just wanted to give, but she chose only positive things that she would give to, but she had the art of receiving. He said, you have to learn that. He said, giving and giving and giving for some women is masculine. He said, when you learn the art of receiving from others, in other words, receiving gracefully. And I thought about that and I thought, my mother does that. She receives gracefully. I could give her a $20 cardigan and she would, thank you so much. And she would put it on next time you went to visit and you just felt like you wanted to go and buy her another one. Whereas my dad, I went to give him a concert at the Sydney Zoo overlooking the harbour and he said, why would you give a silly bugger like me something like that? And I went, oh. And his response threw me. And I realised I never bought the tickets. Isn't that interesting? I had nothing for him that Christmas.
Okay.
So I went, oh my gosh, that's the difference right there. The art of receiving. How well do we receive? And what's the difference? Femininity versus masculinity. Receive, we become more feminine, calmer, gracious.
Perfect, Lynda. Well, Lynda, I know we're getting ready to close out. How can our listeners connect with you? I know you're busy with all your global projects, but how can our listeners connect with you?
Well, look, the best way is probably through my email address.
Okay.
It's Lynda, Lynda, at Lynda-Dyer, DYER.com. I do Zoom coaching. I coach people. In fact, straight after this, I'm coaching a guy that came from Germany who's presently living in America. Okay. And so, I'd love to help anybody that would like some assistance.
Well, wonderful. Well, Lynda, thank you so much. It's a joy having you on Love Light today. You've certainly inspired, motivated, and encourages us to give back and find the joy and love that is within us to share with others and be of service. So thank you so much for being here today and for your selfless service in making the world better.
Thank you, Jane. That's really sweet.
Okay. Well, much gratitude to the Voice America team for making this show a reality and for shining their love light around the world. Let your higher values guide your life. Live in alignment with your soul's purpose. Pay attention to what captures your heart. Trust your inner guidance and signs along the way. Follow the magic and fulfill your true purpose. For goodwill shows benevolent interest and concern. You never know what obstacle and challenges others are enduring. Focus on what you can give rather than get. Be compassionate, supportive, and respectful. Lead with a soft heart. Spread goodwill and create a positive ripple effect for change. This is Dr. Jean Marie, your Love Light host, coming to you from Voice America. And until we meet again, remember, an empowered self is a loving self. And keep your love light shining. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Farish again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.